Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy Monday, October 13th. I wore a hoodie into work today. You can see I'm recording this from my office here at Label King. I even put on a hat because it's the fall. And you know what? That means basketball season. The NBA is coming into full force here, I think, in a week. We'll have NBA tip-off for the regular season. We got college basketball, and we got a little tiny hint of high school basketball this weekend. And it wasn't small. The Great Western Classic is a great event. There's a ton of teams, and if you're a high school coach and you're not putting your team in the Great Western Classic, I I I legitimately don't know why, especially here in Salt Lake City. It's a great opportunity to see what you got, and I got to see what some teams have this weekend. Excuse me. I didn't get to watch everybody, obviously. I'm only one person, but did have a few notes. I did share them on the UtahBasketball.net Substack. So if you are not a subscriber there, I again, I don't know what else to do. It's it's a free subscription. I'm not charging anybody for any of this stuff, and I'm going to talk a little bit later even about the new ranking site that I've been building and kind of what's been going into that. So, but please go over to UtahBasketball.net and subscribe. So the first thing is, and I know that people probably got a little sick of hearing me talk about this thing, but I legitimately just can't help but share good news. It's it's a part of who I am. I'm like an evangelist. It's literally like the bringer of good news is an evangelist, and so I picked up that baller cam just to as a dad because I was like, I am so sick of inconsistent streaming, and the thing I was the most sick of was watching my kids play through my phone. And I'm watching and I'm looking around this weekend at the Great Western Classic, and even when I tried it out at the Border League, and the amount of parents who are you're sitting there on your phone like this, just like watching the game like this. That's no fun. And I know why you do it. I did. I've done it. That's why I got the thing. Um, and I kept waiting for them to come back to me with like, hey, you can't stream games where we're already at or something like that. Not the case at all. Like I said, one of the founders of Baller TV hit me up when I had purchased it and was like, what are you using? It's a new product for them. And so there's some things they were still working out. But was like, hey, if anybody else wants this, like it was the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. And he was like, hey, we'll give you a code. What do you want the promo code to be? Of like, I don't care. So they did give me that promo code VIP Adam for anybody to go get $25 off. It's legitimately only $29 a month. I use it for my daughter's sophomore volleyball games so that my family back home in Colorado can tune in and watch. I obviously use it for some basketball games. I think it also works for soccer right now, and they're looking to expand it. If you are a club team or a high school team, I don't know why you don't have one of these for each one of your teams. Just take back control and create that connection for families. It's just ballercam.com. Anyway, that's my 4-minute long promo. It's like the worst podcast commercial of all time. Okay, so some observations from the Great Western Classic. The biggest observation is it is still October. And while it is basketball season, it's not yet high school basketball season. There are a lot of teams and a lot of players with a lot of stuff to figure out. And that's why you go. That's why you go to these fall leagues, is to figure out what you got to do. I watched a lot of bad basketball. There's no doubt about it. It didn't matter if it was a prep school. It didn't matter if it was a big school or a small school. There's just things to figure out for a lot of teams. And you want to know that now. you don't want to go into the season not knowing what you got to work on, right? Not knowing, the kinds of players that you might have coming back. So some teams that I thought were actually super impressive, and I did write about these, so you can go subscribe over at utahbasketball.net. I won't belabor the point too much, but I thought Layton looked really good. I didn't. There's just teams that I don't get a chance to go watch in person much, and I'm not so crazy that I tune in and watch games when my own kid isn't playing in them. I'm still a dad first and foremost. I hope everybody knows that. So it was cool to be able to go and watch some of these teams that I typically don't go watch. And so I thought the thing that stood out to me the most about Layton that I was not aware of, and you're probably, if you're a Layton basketball historian, you're probably like, well, they've always been this way. Great. I just found out this weekend. Just their style of play is really tough nosed, really gritty, with good shooting. So heavy ball movement and good shooting, and then just a tenacity on defense that I thought was really evident. Let's see, I watched them play against Idaho Premier, I believe, and and also Veritas Academy. No, they didn't. Did they play Idaho Premier? No, I can't remember. I don't have any notes when I'm recording these things. I probably should. But for sure against Veritas, they ended up losing the game. And this was, I think, a good learning moment, honestly, for Coach Miller and the I said the Liberty Lancers, the Layton Lancers. Liberty is a school in Colorado Springs that was my rival high school, but Layton, that I think was a good lesson for their young team. They're still young, a lot of juniors on that team. But I will say Carter Miller looked every bit as advertised, especially in a shot clock era. You need somebody who, after you've run your set, you've gone through it, the defense commits, and you kind of need someone that you can go like 4 low, put the ball in their hands. They're going to get a good shot, and in Carter's case, make it at a high volume. He is a tough shot maker. Whether it's getting to the basket, getting the free throw line, or just a tough pull-up game. Sorry, I got a cough here real quick. I probably will forget to edit that out. Anyway, I thought Layton looked really good. I liked what I saw from teams that I would hope were looking good. Timpview and American Fork. American Fork did not have. I didn't see Bryce Mella playing, but they still look ready for a big time run this year. Team that surprised me, honestly, was Orem. Orem didn't have, obviously nobody has their football players. It's fall break for some schools, so there were probably kids out of town, so it's not perfect. But Orem has a 2028 player who's a sophomore, and I'm going to look up his name here while we're talking, so I don't absolutely butcher it. But the game that I watched, he was on just another just burner of a game. He hit, I want to say it was like 6 or 7 threes. He was tough. So it's a Kekani Menua, I believe is how you say his last name. He couldn't miss. And I watched it. It wasn't just highlights. Like they played, I want to say it was Golden State Prep, who's very good. I thought they were really good, and he was a difference maker in that game. So Orem is looking like, I think a lot of people probably thought, well, they lost a lot, and they did, but they look like a team who is gonna be right there. Lone Peak, I watched them play Springville, and again, another player that I was not familiar with. I'd seen Crew play a little bit, so I knew about his talent, which is clearly evident. He's been putting in a lot of work in the offseason, you can tell. But Saxon Young makes that team scary. That is a scary team with Saxon Young at the point guard position as well. So Again, I hadn't really seen him play much. He made the move over to Lone Peak, and that's a really, really good team that I was super impressed with. I'm trying to think of who else I watched that really, really stood out to me. Anyway, those are probably some of the notes. Oh, Cottonwood. I didn't get a chance to watch Cottonwood. I just they were sort of the talk of sort of the scuttlebutt, if you will, around was how good Cottonwood was looking. And they beat Team Utah, who had essentially an all-star team of like top 50 players that they put together for this. And Cottonwood came back in that game, I heard, and beat them. So kudos to Cottonwood on that. Okay, so there's some of the notes from the Great Western Classic. The biggest note is this: like, just use it as a measuring point on what you need to work on and go get better. Nobody cares. You don't even know what someone's record was. There's no record keeping in the app. There's no scores updating. So it's like, who cares? Just if you played bad, who cares? If you played great, who cares? Just keep getting better. That's what I would say. I did get to go out to Slick on Saturday morning because I live really close, and I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna bring my baller cam, and I want to get a game recorded. Just so, listen, you have to be sort of crazy to go watch the replay of a Western Wyoming Salt Lake Community College full game of basketball. I understand it. I'm not saying that everybody has to do it, but if you watch, and you're objective about this, if you watch your high school film and then you go watch that game, you will notice a difference. If you're being honest with yourself, you will notice a huge difference in the physicality, the execution, the shot making, the defense, the talking, the communicating, to go from the Great Western Classic all day Friday. And I was there from 3:00. Well, I guess it was Thursday night and Friday, and then go to watch that Saturday, then go back to the Great Western Classic. It's a big leap. It is a big time leap for a high school player to go play in a junior college setting. I got to see Treasure Valley play Laramie County Community College a little bit beforehand. Big time leap to go play at Treasure Valley or Laramie County Community College or Western Wyoming or Slick. Like, it's just go watch the games. If you are serious about becoming a college basketball player, understand that for 90+% of kids who are going to go play in college from Utah, maybe 98%, I don't know what the number is, you are not going to go from high school to Division I. It's just not going to happen for almost everybody, especially today. So know where you're going to potentially go and go watch the games. Go watch the RMAC games at Westminster. Go watch Salt Lake Community College play. If you're in Southern Utah, like, go to a trying to think, I guess, is Snow the closest? There's probably community colleges in Nevada that I'm not aware of, but like, go watch the games. Watch the games on film. But when you are there and you're physically there, it's like, it is a huge difference. So Western Wyoming has a player named Jacoby Campbell, and you're watching this kid in layup lines and probably thinking what I was, which is why he's probably at a junior college, which was, how is this, like, his jersey's kind of like draping off of him. He's in the middle of, like, Slick's got dudes who are like, full on windmill dunking. This kid is 5'6", 130, 140 pounds. And he starts the game, and I'm like, okay, let's see what he's got here. Best player on the court. because of his IQ, because of his speed, because he fought through every single screen. He would not die on he would not let himself get screened. He got in the paint and made almost every right play. And so it's like watching someone like that. We have so many like undersized point guards who think like you got to do a whole bunch. He didn't do a lot. Like he wasn't out there like, dribbling the air out of the ball with 18 combo dribble moves. It was like come off of a screen and roll and make the right play, right? How do you read a pick and roll? He was unbelievable at that. And then I found out he was like an all-state player in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. He just hasn't been recruited because of his size to some of these levels, which makes sense. But Juco was a great place for him. But if you saw him, you'd think, oh, I could take you. You're not better than that kid. You might think like, oh, I'm better than him. You're not. I'm just telling you right now, you're not a better player than that kid was. So, and you wouldn't know that unless you actually went out and watched him play. So I did put on IG a link to the Baller Cam recording of it. If you want to watch it, I recommend it. I really do. Because it'll give you a glimpse of what basketball is like at the JUCO level. Okay. So the third thing, and maybe I'll get to the third and maybe I'll get to the fourth thing, I'm not sure, is I've been playing around with coding on Lovable. It's lovable.dev. And this is not like I said, I'm not charging people for this. I'm not monetizing this. I'm literally recording this early in the morning on Monday from my full-time job. But this is practice for me to learn how to make web applications for my full-time job. So that I like to practice with the basketball stuff to learn things. And so, stuff might get broken. There's going to be incorrect data. I'm well aware of all of that. Like I had a couple of parents hit me up like the rosters are wrong. I know. I literally said the rosters are not complete and they're probably wrong. It's like the data's wrong. I know. I'm scraping from data I'm not going through every single player and like showing up to games with a ruler like, hey, can I get your height? It's just like, what does Max Preps or Des News or Prep Hoops say? And I'm just scraping data from these sites in order to build this one. So I'm not putting all of my energy and effort into the accurate roster creation for Viewmont. Sorry. Who, by the way, another team who looks really good. Viewmont's gonna surprise a lot of people this year. So I'm gonna pull this up and just kind of talk through what it is. Again, this is it's a free resource. It's just rankings.utahbasketball.net. And so over the weekend, I made some adjustments. I know I put out some like way too early rankings. Some of those I've adjusted into the top 10 based on the Great Western Classic. And then you got the 2026 and 2027 rankings. So if you click here on view team rankings, you'll see that the top 10. Oh, did it? Oh, my little button went away. See, these are things that I need to know. It was just showing the top 10 and then a little like, hey, click below, whatever. It's fine. I'll fix that. So what I did is I kind of went through and I ranked these just off of feeling after what I watched. This is all going to change though as the season goes on. So I'll be updating the team's win-loss record. But like if you click on the team, it's going to pull in information from like the class of 2026 and 2027 rankings. So this is not the full roster. And even some of these rankings are probably wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong on like after, I don't know, 100. It's like, I got no idea. So, so don't put a lot of stock into this stuff if you're a player or a parent, by the way. But so like the height, that's probably off. Just tell me. I created a little Substack thread that you can go into and say, hey, this information is wrong. Great. I'll just go fix it. It's pretty easy for me to fix. And then also down here, you can see news and articles that are pulling in from utahbasketball.net. So kind of cool. You can also come in here to the region and you can see, so like I've got Bingham ranked 6th, but they would be ranked first in region and then on down the list. 5A, same thing. I even went through for my friends down at 1A. As the further away that I get, like, I do not know much. I didn't even know that Lake Powell was a high school. Zero idea. So a lot of this stuff's going to be adjusted based off of record as the season starts. But if you click on here to Rich, got my guy Rich Lundgren. Or Ridge Lundgren is a point guard in class of 2026. He's a very good 1A basketball player. So that is the rankings page. Like I said, this is going to be adjusted, just like, by the way, the player rankings. And so if you come over here, you can view this as a list, which I prefer to view it as a list on my desktop. The little whatever they're called on my phone. The tiles are easier on my phone because this view doesn't show up very good on my phone. So you can come over here and you can see just UHSAA only if you'd like to, which I know a lot of people who subscribe to this do. But you can do national or you can do all. But I'm trying to keep these commitments up. So yesterday, Bryce Mella committed to Utah State. So just went in and added right there at Utah State. So trying to keep these things as up to date as I can. What I'm going to be doing is when the season starts, let me pull this back down. When the season starts, I'm going to put them in, and then I'm going to add in like an up or down based off of where the movement happens on probably a monthly basis. I'll go in and kind of look at some numbers, and I'm not going to do a ton of work, but undoubtedly there's somebody who's ranked like 200th that I don't know anything about and who's just been absolutely putting in the work, and they're going to come out and they're going to go from there to 60 very quickly. So I'm totally open to that. I have no personal self-worth tied up in any of this stuff. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. I mean, I care. I don't care about it for me personally. So you won't hurt my feelings if you send me information. But I prefer that you put it out on Substack. And the reason for that is because everybody can be a warrior behind the DMs. But when you have to put something out in public, I think that's different. And so I prefer to put things into the threads on Substack. Right now, it's just like, what data is wrong? Do I like somebody did DM me this, but it was like, I'm the coach at this school and you have a player on the roster that I've never heard of. Great. I don't know where that person came from either. It just was data that I scrubbed from the internet and pulled into the ranking site. So super helpful. Okay, player's gone. So I'm wide open for it. I want this to be as close and accurate as I possibly can. So that's the new player and team rankings page. Like I said, I'll keep trying to keep that up to date as much as possible, and I'll keep iterating with it. If anyone's really good at coding things, and actually, if you are really familiar with the class of 2027 and class of 2028, let me know. I would love to give you access to the admin side of this to adjust the 2027 and then create 2028 rankings with me, because I don't know. I have ideas, but I am so disconnected from those classes, and I would love for this thing to keep going, and eventually I won't be able to do it. And so I would love for some people to kind of come along and help me out. So hit me up if that's you. All right, so we're 24 minutes into this. I want to end this kind of with we'll call it the parent corner, because grown-ups listen to podcasts for 20 plus minutes. Kids will just watch whatever clips I can glean from this thing and throw into IG, I'm sure. And probably some adults too. But if you're listening to this thing for 25 minutes, then you're the real superhero. So parents, listen, we got to talk. When you are at these events, honestly, yelling at scorekeepers, not a good look. Yelling at officials, this is their time to get better too. Not a good look. Some things that don't matter, by the way, and I know that I've had, um, I'll have Brad Greenland on again. He's one of the best officials in the state. To kind of talk about some things that I think that players and parents and coaches aren't aware of. But things like foul count. I don't know how many times I heard like, "Oh, the foul count is really skewed," and I'm watching the game objectively. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, "Well, your team is there. The other team's playing a zone, and your team is shooting a lot of threes. So that team's not picking up a lot of fouls. On the other end, you guys are playing a pressing man-to-man defense and picking up a lot of fouls. So the foul count is going to be skewed from the style of play that's occurring. It just is. So they call it both ways, and this is the foul count, like those things. I just need to tell you right now, point blank, and I've said them before too. Listen, I'm guilty. These are things that I'm guilty of, but I'm just telling you as a moment of self-reflection. You sound ignorant. And I know you're passionate about the game, but you sound ignorant. And it's they're just bad habits that carry over from when your kid was young, right? Like when there weren't but like if your kid's playing varsity at the Great Western Classic and there are over 30 Division I coaches along with a ton of other divisions that are there in the gym, don't be the parent who hurts your kid's recruiting because you can't keep your mouth closed on the sideline. Just cheer your kid on. Just root for your team. I'm just telling you, like, yelling and screaming at officials and scorekeepers over a point. Like literally there are parents, the minute that a scorekeeper accidentally clicks +2 for the other team, immediately screaming. I'm like, yo, calm down. Number one, it's not that serious. It's just not. This is not the state tournament. This isn't region play. It's not like, okay, but like there are people who will get that right at the game. That you don't have to be the justice warrior of scorekeeping. Just breathe a little bit, right? Just take a breath. Say something to your friend. Hey, I think they might have gotten the score wrong. Yeah, should we go tell the coach? Maybe. Let's see if they correct it. Just calm down for a second. Speaking of that, yelling out 3 seconds every other play is not fun either. There's just stuff that make watching these games hard, not because of the players, not because of the coaches, not because of the officials, it's because of the parents. And so y'all got to just breathe for a second at these games. The other thing is this, like I was talking about in the Juco thing, there is just some stuff that I've learned as a parent about recruiting that is I think pretty informative, and one of them is that full ride scholarships, like if you're a parent of a player who's in like right now like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you need to be aware of the fact that all of this time and work and money that you're putting in is the probability that's going to lead to a full ride scholarship for your child to play basketball is insanely low. What is the phrase? I'm keeping it a buck. It's insanely low. That's not saying that your kid won't play in college. It's just like I'm going through phone calls right now with my son and with college coaches at various levels. Division II, Juco, Division III, NAIA. And it's a lot of like, you got to fill out a FAFSA. You've got to get scholarships, like hustle on the scholarships that are outside. Like it's, you have to act like you're going to college without playing basketball, but you're being recruited to play basketball because a lot of schools have had and I'll just say this without getting into the politics of it, they've had a budget tightening at a lot of schools. And with that budget tightening at the school comes less opportunities for athletics to have money. Now you see all the stuff about NIL and all this. That's not for most of the kids. For most kids here, if you're going to go play in basketball, it's going to be on that Juco NAIA Division III level, and money's tight there. And so if you're thinking like, oh, I'm going to spend all this money so my kid gets a full ride scholarship to go play basketball in college, the answer is it's probably not going to happen. Uh, so make sure that you're spending it on things like development, on like I've talked about, like sleep and nutrition and skill training and development, and like the program doesn't matter, the exposure. I mean, honestly, like nowadays, barely 16U is going to get any exposure. Like going out at, I would say like going out and traveling and spending a bunch of money to go travel out of state, maybe one time or something like that. But like to go do this for 95% of the kids, like going out of the state of Utah to go play basketball is a giant waste of money. Just is, until they're like, 15, maybe at 15. I watched a kid play in Arizona. I went and talked to his dad. I was like, he's a sophomore. He didn't play any AAU, didn't play any club basketball. He was the best player I saw at in like that games that Judge played against at Border League. Best point guard, best player I saw. Didn't play any AAU. 14, 15U. Just went and played against grown-ups, played pickup ball, was in the gym, was lifting, was shooting, was taking his nutrition right. He was the best player I saw because he didn't play terrible AAU basketball. And it's not all terrible, but I'm just saying there's a lot of really bad AAU basketball. So, yeah, that's just kind of my parent learning from this past week is that full ride scholarship that you think that little Johnny's going to go get is probably not going to be there. And so plan accordingly. As someone who's here, I've transported myself from, like hearing, hey, 14U, we got to go out and play in these live periods. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about a live period at 14U. Nobody really cares about a live period at 15U. They kind of sort of care at 16U, but you got to do the work beforehand to network with coaches to get them out to these things. It really starts to pick up 17U and senior year of high school. So if you're a senior in high school and your coach is not putting you into tournaments where coaches can be at, like the Border League, like the Great Western Classic, I'm sure there's others that I'm missing, but those are the two big ones that I went to. There's a lot of coaches there. There's a lot of networking that can happen, and do your work early. Let coaches know your schedule. Ask if they can be there. Like, you have to put yourself out there. And by the way, when you put yourself out there, make sure that it's true stuff. Don't make things up. Don't make up stats. Don't make your highlights look like you're better than you are, because then a coach is going to show up. And this happened to a couple players, and a coach shows up, and I was sitting there and they're like, oh, I came to watch this kid, but he's no good. Like, you want people to show up and watch you play it's who you really are as a player. You can be really good in highlights and not be good in the game. And that's going to it's going to make somebody mad. Imagine if that happened to you. You'd be mad. You'd be like, oh, I got duped. And unfortunately, it can happen. Anybody can look good in highlights if you play enough basketball. So that's what I got. Everyone go, subscribe over at utahbasketball.net. Please go check out that Baller Cam. Parents, club coaches, high school coaches, one of the best tools that I got. I'm off my phone during the game, just taking it in, and being present as a parent was pretty awesome. That's all I got. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and talk to you soon.